Hello folks, this is Ben. This clip right here is just getting sped up for the sake of time. It's not a very good start. Anyway, the reason I'm making this commentary is because we just got our power back, and as you should slash may know, we had a very terrible power outage that I believe spread um, across a giant chunk of California and a little bit into Arizona, leaving 6 million people without power. And just this morning, San Diego County got its power back, which is I think 1.4 million people. So um, just about a sixth of the people who lost their power um, have it back, and that's the only reason I could do this. So there's still a giant chunk of people without power. As of now, I don't know by the time I post this commentary. But the reason it happened is because a guy in, I think, Arizona was switching out a security camera and did something with a power line or something. I'm not sure if this is even possible or correct, so don't quote me on this, but I believe I heard something about a 3 million watt thing, which is the reason it shut down, which I don't know. I've never heard of anything with that many watts, but whatever. So that is a very large number of watts. But anyway, one guy is responsible for all this. I don't know if the company who hires the guy is gonna show him to the world, because that would probably be very bad for his career. I don't even know if he's still working, but I would believe I wouldn't mind if he wasn't at all. But so another reason I'm making this commentary is because a very important issue I've noticed. The power went down at like 3:45 p.m. and as soon as it went down, people started kind of freaking out, hyperventilating, passing out in the streets. I'm just kidding. This didn't really happen. But so one thing you should know is that we have some chickens and dogs, 3 dogs, and we live in a neighborhood with a huge like variety of animals. And um I just thought about this and immediately mentioned it to everyone around me that this is what I'm going to do a commentary of, which is why you hear me now. But I realized how dependent people are of electronics, and I'm not talking about gaming in general, even though that's also a part of it. This morning on the news, there's actually some kid talking about how he couldn't play Xbox or go on Facebook. So I don't know about that kid, but so I guess that's also a little bit of a connection to electronics. But and it's I'm not saying that um I'm not saying that I would be fine if I never got the ability to use electronics again, because I would lose contact with tons of people, and that would really be a shame. And but whatever. So one thing I realized is how dependent people are of electricity, and that's like the third time I've said that. But today, right now, I'm gonna finish it. Um, I realized that the animals are completely fine, that everything was just living its life perfectly normal. And then people, which are also animals, but humans to be more precise, um, these humans were really just getting affected by it, and that kind of made me think about how technology is destroying our like sense of survival in the nature as human beings. And I don't want to sound like a hippie or like some naturalist, um, but it really got me to thinking about how um, I was gonna say 2,000 years ago, but yeah, even 2,000 years ago, or even 100 years ago, when only very few people had electricity. Um, did they have electricity? Don't quote me on this. I promise that I am no professional, so nothing I say should be taken literally. But all these people were without power. No, I'm sorry. Back then, if they had no power, I bet half of them wouldn't notice because they weren't even using their electronics, and the other half of them wouldn't care because they have something else to do. Um, which I think is how it should be, and that electronics are just slowly kind of like taking over our way of life. What are we gonna do in another 100 years when there's a power outage like this? I mean, electricity is a huge benefit, and things like generators or backup electricity or whatever the word is, or this fancy little machinery they have nowadays. It's stuff like for emergency services, things like fire departments and hospitals and police stations. I understand perfectly why those city officials would be in the need for electricity, and that makes perfect sense to me, and I definitely support them having electricity at all times. But why do normal civilians like us require so much electricity if um if naturally we wouldn't even have any? And all I want to say is that, like, our animals, even though they technically have adapted to things like electricity with things that, like, will cut their fur, or maybe give them water, or maybe even food. I'm just making stuff up here to kind of support me a little bit more, or things like maybe telephones if you lose your animals. But honestly, the animals would be just fine without all those things, and I hate to ramble on about this. Thank you for watching, and the quality will improve from now on. The quality was kind of bad in the last video, but sorry, I can't help it. Thank you for watching.